Thank you very much. Let me recognize the presence of His Excellency Mr. Charles Savary, our President, and Mrs. Savary, Honourable Gloria Shillingford, the Minister responsible for Social Services and Community Development, Honourable Johnson Drago, our dear Parliamentary Rep for the Castle Bruce constituency, my cabinet colleagues who are here, Honourable Bernard, Honourable Ambrose George, Honourable Dr. McIntyre, Honourable Austri, who is from Castle Bruce, Honourable Ashton Grano, Honourable Ivor Stevenson, Honourable Peter Saint-Jean, our dear parish priest, Father LVO, who incidentally is also from Bakers and so on. And our dear Justice of the Peace, Mrs. Roberts, the distinguished chairperson of the Castle Bruce Village Council, Ms. Gasper and her councillors, the local government commissioner and his staff, the DDO and the DDA. I see we have the permanent secretary from the Ministry of Trade. I see here councillors from the Carib Council and councillors from the Saint-Sauveur, Good Hope, Petit-Soufrière Village Councils. Let me greet all of you, the residents of Castle Bruce and Deeper, and to say how happy I am to be here this afternoon in one of the most wonderful villages in the whole of the country. I want to, in a special way, recognize my friend and colleague, Honourable, Lauren Barnes Roberts. She speaks to me so often, you know, I always believe that she's still in cabinet. I sat there and I listened to the speech delivered by the chairperson. And I thought it was an excellent, excellent speech. And I said to myself, while listening to her, I said, I am so happy and fortunate that Ms. Gasper is a supporter of my party. And one of our main platform speakers. So I am indeed happy about that. And I also listened to the presentation by Johnson Drago. I can tell you that you have in Johnson Drago a very decent young man, a very hardworking and community-oriented individual. And he is right when he says that he goes to every single office to get things done. He walks, and sometimes I have to say to Johnson Drago, look, put this cell phone away and take a day off. Because whenever I call him, he's somewhere in the field working, reaching out to people, ensuring that he can hear the concerns and bring it back to the cabinet, bring it to the respective ministers in order to address their concerns. Earlier today, I came in to Castle Bruce a bit early and I visited the Roving Caregivers program, meeting with the staff of the Roving Care program, a program which started some years ago with external funding. And the Castle Bruce constituency and the Saliba constituency are the major beneficiaries of the Roving Care program. And some time ago, the external financing came to an end. And Councillor Ostel Lockhart, who is I think you're the manager, the coordinator, made representation along with Johnson Drago, who himself was a Roving Care giver in his days, and came to me and said, Prime Minister, we need to ensure the sustainability of this program, the future of the program. We need to secure funding. And I am happy to say that I was I am glad that we partnered with you to ensure that the over 300 children in this country who are under the Roving Care program can continue to have the tutoring at their homes. And I said to the Roving caregivers that as long as the Labour Party is in office, we shall continue financing that very important program because it benefits all our children in this country. From there, I went to meet and greet the 46 people from this constituency who had just signed their contracts under the NEP, taking the total to some 93 people from this constituency who are engaged, 96, who are engaged under the National Employment Program. I have heard people criticize, people in the opposition criticize the NEP. But in every single country, or in most countries, particularly the first world countries, the developed countries, like the United States of America, which is the strongest and largest economy in the world, their programs get towards addressing issues of unemployment among the population. And this government recognized that there was a need for it, notwithstanding the investments we have made in agriculture, in infrastructure, in education, in healthcare, in tourism. We needed to have a program to engage as many young people as possible, in order to use their talents and their skills. And we went out and raised the financing to underwrite the expenses for this program. And this program was initially launched in 2013, December, with a mandate to employ not more than 400 people. As we speak this afternoon, the number of people that have been engaged under the NEP and who are presently engaged under the NEP stands at 1,001 persons across Dominica. This afternoon, before I came here to this function, I approved the names of some 50 young persons from the Carib Territory who will be engaged under the NEP, in addition to the numbers that we have engaged in the Carib Territory. I think last week we were in La Plaine, some 45 or 40 thereabout were engaged. So we are responding to the challenges confronting our young people. And instead of some people seeing what they can do to assist with those efforts, they spend their time trying to criticize and denigrate those programs, making people believe that those of you who are under the program are lesser of human beings or lesser citizens in this country. It is, you can criticize Roosevelt Skerrit, you can criticize his party, but why make people who come to the government for assistance believe that they're second-class people? All of us came from challenging backgrounds. Today we have something, but all of us came from challenging backgrounds. There's some of us here who did not go to school not because we were not bright, but because we had to stay back to help our siblings. So if there are parents today who need a little help, whether it is school books, whether it's school uniforms, to help the children to go to school, what is wrong with that? And when I hear people who are aspiring to be members of parliament, I heard the guy from the Carib Territory, Sanford, who wants to be a member of parliament, criticizing the government's program of providing students with school books, school shoes, school bags, school uniforms. Why should we find ourselves engaging in unnecessary discussions? Because, you understand what I'm saying? Let me tell you something. And Johnson Drago said, we'll come here at the appropriate time on political platforms. But when I hear people speak about the economy is in shambles, and I say, but the guy who wants to run against Johnson Drago in Casablanca just built a hotel under Labour. And if you will only invest in a country if you feel that there are opportunities. So I am trying to understand that you criticize on one hand, but you are seeking to take advantage of the benefits of the opportunities in the country. So it is good for them, but it is bad for the rest of us in the country. My friends, I will be the last person in the country who will come and say that everything is perfect in Dominica. There's no world where things are perfect. When President Obama came to office in 2009, there was about 8% unemployment in America. It has gone down a bit, but it is still above 7%. With all of the billions of dollars the US government invested in the economy, there has not been any major dent on the unemployment rate in America. So what about little Dominica? What about little Dominica that depends on the rest of the world in large measure? Not to have challenges. But if people are to speak the truth to themselves and to speak the truth to the country, they would give this government credit in doing its best with the little resources that we have in this country. Because when I sat there and I heard Ms. Gasper mention the number of checks and the amounts that were given to the council in the last 3 years alone, it tells you that some things have in fact happened in Castle Bruce. We had some challenges on the 10 houses we were building, and there were some people who were happy that it stopped. They were celebrating. Yeah, it stopped. Good for all you. But I will say to them that the good Lord has given us the $750,000. And we have made it available to ensure that this project will not only recommence, but will be completed to the satisfaction of the 10 families in Castle Bruce who will get a new brand home. A new home for themselves and for their families. And we just signed the contract for the under snow Stenhouse Road. When we started the Jalousie Road, people said that it will never start. When it started, they said it will never finish. But we have seen work going on as we speak on the Jalousie Road. And the works will be completed by this government and this member of parliament. So you cannot want to, I happened to get a little pamphlet of a candidate in the constituency who was running against us. And everything the person has on that program to do, he's saying to continue the road works, to continue the drainage, to continue the housing. I mean, if you're going to continue, why stop? Why change? Why change a government that is working, that is doing things, just for you to come to continue it? Where are your new ideas? Not one new idea the person has. Everything is to continue. Well, Labour will continue it. We'll continue it. So, I want to say to you, the councillors, and to this young man from Deeper, I will personally come to Deeper with you to walk through the hamlet of Deeper. So you can tell me directly, as the Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, what you would like to see happen in Deeper to the benefit of Deeper. Because when I see young people coming forward, and this young man coming forward and contesting the elections, you can see in that man's mannerism that he's interested in representing people. And we will do everything possible to make you the most successful councillor, not only in Castle Bruce, but in the whole of Dominica. So I promise you, as soon as my schedule allows me, I will personally come to work with you in Deeper and see what we can do here in Deeper. I have committed to Castle Bruce a sum of $200,000, and you'll get that within a couple of weeks, to continue the construction of washrooms in Castle Bruce. I've been told that you have about 35 people who do not have washrooms in Castle Bruce. As long as the resources are made available, we will move towards eradicating those pit latrines in this village. So you will start with $200,000 to move ahead with the continuation of the eradication of pit latrines. Because, and you know, sometimes if you have to listen to what people who oppose you say, you know, but I'm a very focused person and so on. While I listen to them, it passes it from one ear, it goes on the other. Because it is nothing that can add any value to what we were doing and what the people of this country want us to do. Because nothing constructive. It's always a negative, a negative, a negative. And when it is time to do the work, you cannot see them anywhere. Anywhere, because they have no track record of community involvement, community service. And that is what representation is about. Representation is not about being a minister of government. It's about representing people's interests and being there with them. So when you criticize Johnson Drygo by assisting families, because we understand as a party, as a government, that the cost of burial has gone up in a remarkable way. Gone are the days when you take two pitch pine and you knock together and you take some battery water and you old batteries and so you break it and so on and you pass on the coffin. It is expensive everywhere. And we cannot, because somebody comes from a poor family, we cannot tell them to go and wrap your father in a white sheet and bury him. What is wrong with the government saying to the family that we will assist you in burying your family with dignity? What is wrong with that? So I'm saying to you, my friends, look at what is happening around the world. Look at what is happening in Dominica. And you realize every country has its challenges. But we in Dominica, thank God, are holding our own. And every single public officer receives his salary on time in Dominica. So when they tell us to look at what Barbados is doing, but Barbados has announced that it shall send home over 3,000 public officers. Barbados has made tremendous cuts in spending, not because the Prime Minister of Barbados do not like his people, but because the Barbados economy, as we speak, is going through some challenges. All of us here, every one of us here, has relatives overseas. We have relatives overseas. And our relatives who used to send a little barrel for us, some US for us and so on, that has gone down dramatically because they themselves are having problems. And even in some cases, you, the family members, may even have to send some money to them to help pay their rent. I mean, the UWP spokesperson on the economy was fired by the IMF and has been unemployed for the last 3 years. He can't get work in America. With all his PhD, he can't get work. So let us understand, my friends, that when they come here and tell you what they're going to do and what they will not do and what Labour is not doing and what they're doing, it is just a smoke screen. But in every sphere of society, we have been making progress under challenging and difficult circumstances. So I want to say to you here in Castle Bruce, as the chair lady said, there are things that you can do for yourself. There are things that you can do together as a village. It is not everything you can look to the PAL rep to do, or to the councillors to do, or to look to Skerrit to do. Whatever you can do, whether it's the unblocking of a drain, whether it's cutting the grass in front of your homes, let us do it as a village. And we do not have to wait for community day of service to do community service. Why can't we dedicate one day per quarter, every 4 months, for community service in our country? Whether it's a Saturday or a Friday afternoon or a Thursday afternoon, a couple hours, to deal with a particular challenge. Because if you have to leave all of these things to the government to do, the government must find the money to do it. So when the government sends people to unblock the drains, it is money that we could use to build a home for you. It is money that we could use to send your children to university overseas. It's money that we could use to construct a new road you want for the farmers. It is money that we could use for other things if we can minimize on government exposure in those parts of the country. So let us continue to work together, my friends, and I will say to the council, to Chair Lady, that you have the absolute commitment of myself as the Prime Minister and the government as a whole. And you have the best link in the person of your PAL rep, somebody who I have the highest regard for, somebody who is committed to hard work, and somebody who has demonstrated his commitment to the people of this constituency and Dominica as a whole. And if I had a choice, I would ask him to come and be the PAL rep for vehicles. But people down there say they have one already, and they will stick to you and so on. But I am very happy to be here in Castle Bruce and to be here with you. Thank you for inviting me, and I look forward to coming back to you here to follow up on the activities, especially the housing project. We have to continue ensuring that when we start, we can complete it. And I'm happy that you will have 5 contractors who will be working on this project with the hope that they can employ some people from Castle Bruce on this project and create some employment. But in terms of Johnson Drygo's report card, I believe if you're fair to yourself, if you're honest with yourself, you will give Johnson Drygo an A+. And if something is good, say it's good. And if something is working, why try to fix it? So, at the appropriate time, you will demonstrate that vote of confidence in your PAL rep, Johnson Drygo, just as you did in my dear friend, Ms. Gasper, by voting for her and causing her to top the poll. When people were saying she shouldn't get 1 vote, she got the most votes in Castle Bruce and so. So I want to congratulate her and to congratulate all of you, a wonderful group of people who I believe will move things in Castle Bruce. We will work together for the overall benefit of the entire community, deeper and Castle Bruce and so forth. But it's a wonderful community. I would like to see the culture be more visible in Castle Bruce. I would like to see more cultural groups and more cultural activities in Castle Bruce. You are known for that, and I want you to ensure that you can continue doing that. And if you want a teacher, a tutor for quadrille and hill and toe and so on, you can call me anytime. Thank you very much, and may God bless all of us. Thank you.